All right, YouTube, it's time for Occult Literature video number 34, The Principles of Sonic Occultism, authored by yours truly. This is not an edited work, it's something I wrote myself. So many people ended up asking me for they wanted me to recommend works on Sonic Magic. The only work I know of on Sonic Magic is a limited edition, it's like an 80s era Nicholas Schreck work. There are no physical copies unless you want to pay several $100s on eBay on the off chance that there's a copy available. There was a spurious edition released by a publisher who apparently lives in Thailand or something and defrauds people for a living. That was available on Amazon. I actually sort of got the ball rolling as best I could on making sure people knew that was, not an authorized edition. But you can't actually get that work. It'll be at some time before it's, I'm assuming, re-released. I think that Nicholas is planning to do so. So link in the description to my own work on Sonic Occultism. Second link to my books blog. I'm half done with maintaining it, but I'm not going to do more than one update a day. And I have to do the update in order to actually embed the blog post in the blog itself with a tab. So it's going to take 2 more days before that's completed. But it's half done. So the blog is looking somewhat better now, a little bit better organized than it was before. As far as Sonic Occultism goes, I just wanted to produce my own work on the subject because there was seemingly a great deal of demand for such a work, but there was nothing actually that I could recommend when people asked me. This is my opinion regarding Sonic Magic. I go a great deal into ancient lore. I go back mostly to sort of pagan culture. I make a note of this, of course. The muses are related to Sonic Magic. Literally, music is most of it. But part of it is also charisma and speech. Speech is literally how we understand the world around us. We understand it through linguistic terms. If you can control those terms, you have literally exercised a sort of godlike power over things by manipulating the understanding of other individuals. Now, there is, of course, the sinister current, which is not some sort of trademarked idea I thought up. This is of course, Nicholas and Xena's own belief. I happen to ascribe to the basic concept. I think that's absolutely right. The idea of sort of a left-hand path sound, including in the sense of releasing things of certain frequencies and that potentially interacting with human brains. I think it's very much true. It goes deeper than that, though. Even music in a religious sense, you would think, so often, music as it relates to ritualism is secondary. That is, the music or sound or whatever played during the ritual, it's secondary to the ritual itself. You would think of a bunch of black hooded congregants. They get together, they're like chanting, they're doing their thing, and they've got like a drum beat in the background or something like that, as opposed to certain types of ritualism. Music takes center stage. I talk about the Iboga rituals, of course, in Central Africa. The sort of ritualism that goes along with that is mostly like a weird musical ceremony. The imbibing of the psychedelic itself only really has any importance within the context of that musical ritual. So you can see there are musical rituals that are purely music or mostly music. You make actual occult music in a mimetic sense, it's quite clearly that is the ritual itself, as opposed to music simply being used in the form of, not in the form of a ritual, but alongside it. But then again, you would think of everything else as being just a piece of that ritualism, the way that you're dressed, the use of a wand or a scepter or an altar or something like that. Those are components of the ritual, but the ritual itself is compiled from all of these different components, as opposed to Sonic Occultism, where the music or the sound in general is either explicitly and solely the ritual, that is the actual ritual, or it is the primary component thereof that actually gives it import. And I go into a great deal of other material as well. I had a lengthy blog post on it that sort of talks about the different chapters. I speak about the concept of charisma, psychological triggers, sort of you could think of showmanship in a general sense as well, and in sort of the sense of the most authentic stage magicians. They're going to have music playing. It's all the flashy lights, the sleight of hand. It makes use of human senses in order to trick the audience. Well, in a more authentic sense, it may not be necessarily trying to trick people, but it still uses the same input, the same triggers. If it is meant to affect the audience or the members, the congregants, the sorcerer, the operator, whatever you want to call them, or adherents, or lay people watching, or their fellow craftsmen, or whatever you would like to term it. There are different types of sonic ritualism. I then go into talking about my own experiments with occult ritualism, those that were more or less successful, generally related to the music that I've released. When people don't quite understand what I'm getting at with my music, it's taking the form of an occult ritual. There's no further ritualism at all. It's quite literally just ambient music. Most people just find that strange. They may even find it unsettling. That's kind of the point. It's a psychological harvesting of energy, and I go into some detail about that as well. So again, link in the description if you're interested in learning about sonic occultism in my practice, from my perspective. There are other works on it, but there's nowhere to actually obtain the only other major work that's ever been released on the topic. So I would recommend you subscribe to the email list of Nicholas and/or Zena's websites. That's what I would recommend, because I do believe there are plans to re-release that work in edited modern form. I'll certainly be buying a copy. That would be beyond the Manson file as far as what I would find interesting. But I think we're going to have to wait some time, because I think there are several other works that are being worked on ahead of that. That's about all. Peace out.